modern technology taking away jobs through all of this automation. And I can understand that the debate can be discussed on both sides. But as I work with people around the world, I'll let you know what I explained to people. What I've been talking about, I use the light bulb as the example. The light bulb was first invented by Thomas Edison in the year 1879, and it was patented in 1880. And as I do this broadcast, it's about 140 years later after the invention of the light bulb. So if you look at human existence, we basically were in the dark, except for candles and kerosene lamps. So now let's talk about what the early 1800s was like. There was a gas lamp that was lit so that the streets could be lit up for the horses and people to know where they were going when they were walking at night. So what did that job entail? And it involved a guy with, he's paid for this. He climbs up the ladder and he opens the valve to the gas and he lights the lamp with a flame, with a match. And there's the lamppost. Then he climbs down the ladder and carries the ladder to the next post and does it for a few hours. And then in the morning, or maybe it's at midnight, I don't know when it was, he would do the same thing to climb up the ladder, but this time he would turn off the flow of gas because the lamp wouldn't be on during the day. Okay, but that was someone's job. Then enter 1880, the invention of the light bulb, which grew very quickly all over the world. So what did the guy do who used to climb up the ladder and physically light the gas lamp? Well, what happened was, as he lost one job, he gained two jobs. What are the two jobs that he gained with the invention of the light bulb? Well, number one, he could manufacture light bulbs because that was exploding crazily. And the other thing he could do is he could work for the electric company because electricity was even more important, especially with the light bulb and all the other associated industries that followed after that. So by the invention of the light bulb, that opened the doors to many things. Let me give you a personal example. Now, I'm a little bit older, so one of the things I used to do in 1985, during the daytime, I was a software developer, also working in quality assurance for a bank. So I was more of an IT tech guy during the day. But I was also getting ready to start my master's degree, so I needed to collect a little bit of extra money. So what I did was I worked at a video store. This is before DVDs. This is when we rented out VHS tapes for movies. And I remember the record-breaking for us, for the store, our record-breaking title was Beverly Hills Cop, the first one. So that's how long ago it was. The year was 1985. So what happened was I worked there for a couple of years, and then I went on to get my master's degree. Well, eventually, all video stores closed, and the biggest chain in the United States that I recall was called Blockbuster Video. The store I worked at was called National Video, which was before Blockbuster Video. I remember when National Video closed, Blockbuster Video went into the store space where I had used to work on nights and weekends. So now what happens is many years later, but as of now, it was years ago, I got a job at Comcast as a development specialist working with service center representatives. What does Comcast have? What does a cable provider have? The television cable have? They have video on demand. So the video on demand requires just a remote control rather than driving to a store to pick up a DVD. But think of the jobs, and I can certainly think of it because I work for the company, but think of all the technology development, the type of education that's needed to be able to manage this video on demand. Think of the jobs that came out of Netflix now that they're streaming online, and also Amazon Prime. They have their own production studio. So by the elimination of what I had gone through renting out VHS tapes, I look at cable service providers, I look at Netflix, I look at Hulu, I look at Amazon Prime, but all of these jobs require some sort of training and education. And I think the concern people have when they hear about jobs going away, they're concerned about what do I do? And the thought is not being put up here that there needs to be some sort of training and education and development. Now, we live in a world today where technology goes by very fast. I'll tell you how fast it's going. The year right now is 2021. Not long ago, in 2007, so obviously less than 20 years ago, less than 15 years ago for that matter, the iPhone was introduced. 1 year later, Google introduced Android. And then 1 or 2 years after that, then there was the competition. And so the world of smartphones was introduced not so long ago. Look at how the world has changed. As I speak to you today, on the anniversary of man walking on the moon for the first time, Jeff Bezos and his team launched his Blue Origin spacecraft. And that was 9 days later after Richard Branson launched his. And both CEOs were on their own spacecraft. Imagine the opportunities, the careers, and the jobs with all these new technologies. Granted, it requires education and development of your skill set. You know, when I talk to the youth today, and they tell me that they're getting their bachelor's degree, they're about to start the university. I go a step ahead. I ask them, what are they going to do about their master's degree? I know that's an early question, but I'm planting the seed because I'm making the statement that to be very competitive in this world, you need to be fully developed. And I'm not just talking about technology, I'm just talking about the fast moving world that we are in. So that's the big concern right about now is how do we develop and evolve ourselves in the changing world that we're in? There's going to be a group of people, the haves and the have-nots. On a technology side, I remember years ago, there was the discussion of the digital divide. Well, that digital divide is growing larger. So my advice is be trained up, be educated, and just be aware that we're in a fast moving future. So that's my take on the debate. Does tech take jobs away? I believe as one door opens, not another door opens. As one door closes, two doors open. That's and the reason why I say that, I go back to the light bulb. As the light bulb was invented, the one who was lighting the lamps for the streets at night had to be trained up, had to be educated, manufacturing light bulbs or working for the electric company or any other associated industry. So that's where we're at. I thank you for joining me. My name is David, and I'll see you next time.